In last week's episode, I hauled my boat out and got on the boatyard. So I would recommend, if you haven't watched that you go back one episode and start with that. But if you're a little wild and crazy and don't care about watching things in order, then go right ahead and watch this one first.
Hi, my name is Nova Lohman and I am a solo sailor. For 5 years, I completely renovated my sailboat, a beautiful old vessel from the 1970s. And in the summer of 2021, I set sail without any timeline for returning home. On board with me is my loyal companion, my dog Neno. Alright, so today I'm adding a ball valve because I got a through hole that I've just had a hose threaded over with nothing else, which is dumb, obviously. But I don't really remember how that came to be. Anyways, I have one like this, which was the one I was intending to use. And then I have this one, because the thing is, I can't fit this one and turn it because the handle gets stuck. And I know that I can remove the handle, but I'm also thinking, because it's such a tight space and the handle is really long, if I do actually need to close this because something is leaking, it's gonna be like just a bitch and a half to get everything away so that I can move this handle. And then I was thinking that this one might be neater because obviously it requires less space to be turned. But it's also like I would be changing the size of like the hole from pretty much like, I mean, from this to this. Okay, turns out this one broke, so I can't close it, so this one's not an option. So I removed the handle and then it fits. However, I had bought like a 90-degree thing to put the hose on, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't want, like, having an angle is kind of dumb because stuff can get stuck here. But I thought since the hose was coming from above that I would need it, but now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't want to be 90 degrees, it wants to be straight out. So I'm just digging through my bag of various things to see if I have one that fits. Like maybe this one. It's almost the same size. Let's see if I have a bigger one. This one probably fits. I have so many various things. I've changed so many things on this boat. I have every size imaginable. Yeah, so I think that'll probably work out. Digging through. Like. Anyways. Yep, and it goes in here all the way at the bottom into this hose. And it goes through the hole there, and it comes from the drainage on deck. Alright, next thing on the agenda is to add a new through hole. Where did I put it? It's going under the galley. When I bought this boat 9 years ago, I removed so many various through holes. I thought they looked like a Swiss cheese and I didn't want that. In total, I've removed eight holes in the boat. And I've added one, maybe? Well, I added one and then I removed it again. But yeah, so in total maybe I've added one. That remains. Anyways, yeah, so I removed the through holes for the drainage in the kitchen and also for the seawater pump. And I did that in the beginning of the renovation, and I think I had a plan for what I was going to do with that. But I think as the renovation progressed, that plan just kind of dissipated into thin air. So when it was time to actually add the drainage, I didn't really know where to put it. So it's been connected to, because I have another sink in the head, so I've added it to they used the same one, which worked kind of well in the beginning, and now it's just awful. The galley drains really poorly. So I'm going to add a new one so it gets one of its own. Maybe I should grab something to eat first. I'm getting really tired. Yeah, so I am doing that. Adding a new throw hole. Jesus Christ, that's 2.5 minutes of me talking. Yeah, new throw hole in the kitchen. Let's go. So I've decided where I want it. So I'm going to be drilling one hole from the inside just to guide my way out, so I can find it. And then I'll be drilling the rest from the outside, just to, like, I don't know, not have to be in this space. So I've got a little hole right here. I'm just gonna try to not get fiberglass in my eyes. And do a proper hole here. I just tried the hole, it's perfect. I have to screw it through, which is pretty much the perfect size. So now I'm just going to be grinding away the paint around the hole, because on this paint nothing can adhere, which is the whole point of the paint. But that means I have to remove it in order to get this. And that's going to be really exciting because, well, this is a silicone-based paint. And a lot of people go, silicone on a boat, don't do it. But I have it on very good authority that this is not the type of silicone that contaminates other surfaces. It does, however, like, nothing can adhere to this, which is the whole point of the outer filing, that no little creatures can adhere to it either. But that means that I have to grind the paint away, which I would have done anyways, if I was doing something on the hull. So yeah. That's what we're doing. It's going to be interesting because this is the first... Yeah, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I'm a little loopy today. That's going to be very interesting to put the grinder to the paint and sand it, because I've never done that before. And everyone is always like, oh, but what if you want to remove it? How hard is that going to be? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be impossible. So it's going to be nice to be able to answer, like, the questions people have about it. So yeah, let's get going. Yeah, I have, like, these are the papers I used, I don't remember, it was the galley or something, when I was complaining that they were so fine, but it's just like, I have so many of these papers. And they're like all, yeah, because they've been in the boats and they're like a little damaged by salt and stuff. But I actually did buy 10 papers, I think. No, 5. That's coarser. So I'm going to be using that now to make things a little easier on myself. And then maybe I'll use the fine one afterwards. If I ever did want to remove this paint, it would be so easy. Like, I barely had to graze the surface and it removed... Okay, so the top, I don't remember, I think it's 2 layers. It's black, and then underneath that is yellow. Underneath that it's like a grey whitish, and that's for the silic one. Underneath that I have some epoxy paint, which is also grey, and I don't really know how many layers. And then underneath that I've got my yellow coat, which is yellow. And as you can see, I'm all the way into the yellow coat and I barely touched it. I used 80 paper. It took me like 2 seconds. And just like to be clear, the epoxy is really thin because I put it on and then I had another paint and then I decided I didn't want that paint anymore, so I ground the whole bolt down again, back to back to the epoxy, and then I, removed a bit of the epoxy while doing that, obviously. So the epoxy is really thin, and that's why I came all the way down to gel coat, and that was super easy. 10 out of 10 experience, would do again. So the hole is drilled and the paint has been sanded off. Something I see now is that it has a wood core, which is strange, because this is definitely not the first hole that I've ever made under the waterline, but this is the first time that I've seen a wood core, I think. So that's very strange. Like, I mean, it's been a few years, but I just have no memory of ever seeing a wood core. Anyways, so what I'm doing is that I am removing the first layer of wood so that I can replace it with fiberglass, to make sure that if this does leak, it won't leak into the core. Yeah, pretty much the same thing I did on deck, only that this is way more important. So yeah, I'm doing that, and then I'm going to glass it, and I'm going to take Nana for a long overdue walk, and then I'm going to hopefully get the through hole in. Alright, I'm done, I think. I didn't have the proper tool to tighten the through hole, and I thought that I could, well, I didn't actually think, but I hoped that I could make do with this one. It didn't go great, but hopefully it is tight enough. And yeah, and I've added the ball valve and everything, and yeah, I'm just hoping that it's sealed, that it's not leaking, and I'm so excited. Like, you cannot fathom how awful it's been to, okay, I'm not, yeah, no, but it's been freaking awful. Like, the whole, okay, let me paint you a picture. So the old drainage, it went through here, through here, through here, through here, over here, here, into the bathroom. And not only does that make it more difficult to actually drain, but also when I'm in more southern latitudes, the water starts to smell when it stands, like salt water rots, in case you didn't know. Up here it's kind of fine, I don't really notice it, but otherwise it added a smell to the boat that was just gross. And occasionally, if I sailed in really rough seas, the water would go back. I mean, I wouldn't get water up in the sink, but like occasionally it would bubble up and it would just be all of this sludge that's kind of like gathered in the hose, which would also be absolutely disgusting. So I'm just really happy that that part of my life is over with. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited. I'm gonna show you now. Here it is. So the hose will now just go down here, and I will get a brand fresh new one, and also clean out this one so it's all brand spanking new. I had to tie up some hoses so they wouldn't get damaged when I drilled. But yeah, and it closes this way now, so there's nothing in the way when it closes. Yep. Today is Monday, and I've booked splash day for Sunday. The only thing I have left to do is to fix the bottom paint before I can splash, but there is a lot of rain coming this week, and I can't paint if it's raining. But I think, according to prognosis, and if I can like keep the pace that I want, that I'm going to be able to put all the layers and still have enough time for everything to cure. So what we're doing today is that we are cleaning, like I have a lot of these, like some places where the paint is damaged. So that needs to be cleaned and, prepped for painting. And we also need to wash the entire boat with like a sponge. and then we're gonna paint, and the primer goes on the same day as the tie coat. So if I start today, I have to put the tie coat the primer and the tie coat. And then tomorrow I will be putting the Silic one on top of the tie coat, because I'm not going to need the tie coat for the whole boat. I only need it for places where the paint is really damaged. And the tie coat has maximum 48 hours before it's like ruined, then you have to start over. And it's gonna rain on Wednesday, but I think if I put Silic 1 on the tie coat tomorrow, and then I will just like make spots where I can move all of the supports, and then I put the rest of it on Friday, because then it's gonna be dry too, because it's gonna rain Wednesday, Thursday, but then everything still has enough time to cure. So yeah, that's the plan. Wish me luck. So I have scraped and sanded all of the places that needed scraping and sanding, and also washed those places. So I'm just leaving the water to dry a little bit, and then it's time for the first layer of primer. So now I've primed all of the damaged areas. The rule of thumb for this paint is that if the damage is smaller than the palm of your hand, you don't really need to do anything. But since I already had the primer out, I thought I would just like pop it into the small damages as well. Figured it can't hurt. But yeah, so it looks kind of like someone's taken a shot at it in a paintball field. Anyways, yeah. I'm sorry I'm not filming as much as I usually do now that I'm here. It's just that when I'm on the hard, the boat is pretty much everything that exists in the world. So I'm not really wasting any time filming stuff, mostly because that makes everything take twice as long, but also because I'm just so focused and I just love being here, but I don't want to be here forever. So I'm enjoying this time, just my boat and me, and I know of course it's afternoon and I have painted the tie coat as well. So now we wait until tomorrow and we add the top layer, and then because I mean obviously there's a lot of places that I can't reach, so I am going to do the top layer into sections so that I can move the supports and try to get as much as possible. Unfortunately, these little pieces, where am I pointing? Down there, that the boat is standing on, I won't be able to paint underneath, since the whole painting 3-day session, and it needs 36 hours before you can launch. So even if they could move me so I can move them, I mean it would be super expensive to just buy paint for that section, and also yeah, so I guess I'm gonna have to live without, even if it's super frustrating. Good morning, it is another sunny day here. What I've done this morning is that I've washed the bottom, because the paint kind of needs to be activated before you can paint over it. So I'm going to be painting on all of the places I've put the tie coat, and pretty much the rest of the boat. I'm saving one can of paint so that I can move the supports later and get under them as well, but that's going to have to be on Friday, I think, because it's Tuesday today, I think. Yeah, so Wednesday and Thursday are gonna rain, or at least be a little rainy, so I don't want to paint then, but then I'm going to do the rest of the boat on Friday, and then we are splashing on Sunday. Starting every morning with a walk in the woods. It's good for me, good for Nano. There's so many little paths here I haven't explored. Alright, so I have moved the supports and also just removed one completely because it doesn't actually need to have 7 supports. That's a bit overkill. When I did this the first time I had 3, so I think 5 will suffice. I've also scrubbed the areas that are going to be painted, and yeah, while that dries I'm going to try to polish my freeboards. It's something that I've never ever done before. I'm more of a paint it once and make it beautiful and then let it decay and then I can make it beautiful again, rather than you know, take care of what you have type of gal. But yeah, they're looking over it. Yeah, they're looking real sad. So I don't know, I'm gonna see if I can make them a little bit prettier. I had actually thought that maybe I was just gonna repaint. Then I was like, honey, that's silly. I repainted the entire boat in 2017. So it's not time yet, honestly. It hasn't even been a decade. So I'm just gonna try to polish instead. Okay, so I've done about square meter. I started on a spot where the fenders have really like gnawed their way through the paint during the winter. Because I thought, well, I can just take like the worst spots. But no, I cannot, because look at the difference. So, pretty much split screen. This side is polished, this side is not, and I can't see it as clear in the video as you can in reality, but honestly it's like the biggest difference, and it wasn't even that hard. Although I can't reach above the black line. But yeah, I think maybe I'm just gonna have to do the whole boat. I don't know if I actually have time to do that, but yeah, I'm gonna start and see how far I can make it. We are splashing! We've got supervisor right here. And here it is, the tractor. Bye, darling. Hopefully I'll see you on the other side. It's been 2 days since the last clip, and Nano and I are headed out to get my mast down. It's actually kind of weird weather. There's like really big, thick looking clouds. I assume they're cumulus of some kind on the horizon. And then there's a lot of fog. It just rolled in right now, and I have to go because I've set the time for when I want to take the mast on, so everyone's meeting me there, everyone who are helping me. But I just saw the fog rolling in like right now as I was casting off, so it's really thick. Yeah, we'll see what the weather is about to do. So just past the cardinal markers, and the next one is 0.2 nautical miles away, and I cannot see it. That's how thick this fog is. So hopefully I won't get run over. According to my plotter, this cardinal marker is 145 nautical miles away from me when I saw it. So that's the visibility I've got. I'm trying to keep, it's very narrow here, but I'm trying to keep as far to the right as I can, and hopefully anyone I might be meeting will be doing the same. It got really chilly in the fog, which obviously I could have figured out. So I'm kind of regretting not putting a jacket on, but visibility is so bad that I don't really want to pop down and get a sweater or something. So I'm just going to have to endure. It's really, really short trip that I'm doing, so I won't succumb to hypothermia, I think.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. I know there was a lot of me filming my face and not so much filming the things that I actually wanted to show you guys. Apologies for that. Either way, thank you so much to everyone who's donated to my PayPal. It means a lot to me. And yeah, next week I'll be back in the water. So, stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.